Employment with Kathy by Design. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a super fun project to share with you today. I have another Eileen Hull treasure box and notebook die set. This one is made with Stamperia's Alice collection, which I have to say I'm pretty much over the moon about this collection. So I built the little box, decorated it with the papers. This is a little glass knob that I had in my stash, graphic 45's claw feet that I painted with antique linen paint, a little Prima resin frame that I've had in my stash forever, and I treated this with Seth Apter's baked velvet embossing powder, as well as his, I think this is Mediterranean, and his ancient amber. These little teeny tiny silverware pieces I also colored with the ancient amber, and then fussy cut images from the collection here. The side panels are decorated just with little sections from the paper collection, and on the back side I've hinged it. This is a great tip, and I want to go ahead and share this with you. There's this stuff called Craftex, Kraftex, and you can buy it online from a lot of various places. I think Amazon even carries it, and it's like a paper product, but it's super durable. So I used the hinge to die cut 4 of the hinges from Eileen Hull's treasure box die, glued 2 of them together to form this really super strong hinge on the box. And then this is one of my little spoons that I pick up at estate sales. Now we'll look at the cover. This is like, let me see if you can see. I love the way this lid turned out. I've had these little teapot napkin rings. As most of you know, I'm a tea drinker. So I've had these little teapot napkin rings in my stash forever. And I put down a vintage doily using Distress Collage Medium. I added these itty bitty little china cups, some beautiful little birdie flowers, some prills, foliage from Little Birdie, and then I just kind of dry brushed everything with a little antique linen paint to shabby it up. And I also decorated the backs. So if you're using this as a centerpiece at a tea party, all the sides are pretty to look at. So the lid lifts up, and then inside I have 3 of these little notebook that I've put together. And we'll just take these out of the box and set the box aside. But just so you can see the construction of the box, I did this one a little bit differently than the last one. Last time I made a false lid, which I also did this time because I just like how finished it looks, but I left the bottom as it was and just cut a little paper panel to cover the mat board. And that way I could fit 3 boxes in. So we'll just take a look at these. I did these 3 different ways because I wanted to show the versatility of this Eileen Hull die. There's so many reasons why I love this notebook die. First of all, it's really easy to use. It cuts a mat board cover. You can use leather, you can use lightweight metal, you can use corrugate cardboard, you can use, fabric. You think of it, you can probably cut it with this, and you can learn more about that on Eileen's website. That's one reason. It's just easy to use. It scores the spine in for you. You just fold it, you're ready to go. The second thing I love is that it is a fabulous way to use up paper scraps, and that's what I've done with these 3 little mini notebooks. And we'll start with this first one. This one features the white rabbit. This is a little antique bronze cabochon charm from the Funkie Junkie Boutique. Some little metal pieces that I had in my stash, and I altered a lot of my metals with Tim Holtz Rose Gold Alcohol Mixative. This stuff is really cool. And I also used aged mahogany distress paint. I had this burlap in my stash. You have to keep these covers kind of plain, and in retrospect I probably would not have put this on there with the cabochon because it does make it a little bit snug to fit in the box, but we made it work. Then on the spine, I had a little pocket watch with the rabbit charm in my stash, and I tied this on with waxed linen thread. And again, this was colored with the mixatives. So inside, this has two parts. The first part pulls out. Here's the pocket that I built at the back, and I just tucked in a couple of tags from the collection and decorated this with a little plaque, and you could write a message here or a date or whatever. This has a belly band. It's just a basic little accordion fold. It measures, hold on, I think it's like 3.5 by 3.5 by 5. And I just joined plain cardstock together with score tape, then scored every 3.5 inches to form this little interactive decorative folio. And this is designed to be what I call a lap book. This is not designed to hold photos. This is just to hold in your hand and look at and enjoy. So here's a great tip. When you have a large image like this that's too big for your base, score it, fold it, turn it into a feature. I just fussy cut this teapot, glued that down. Here I just used a little scrap to make a little pocket and then cut down one of the images and journal cards from the collection so that it fits in here neat and tidy. And you can write quotes about tea or about Alice in Wonderland, whatever you want to do there. And then here's just another little tag from the collection. But you can see how even little tiny pieces like this can be used to create a really fun element. Here's the back side. I made a little mini accordion folio with the cards, the playing cards, just by cutting, scoring, and folding, and this tucks in back behind this label. There's our buddy, the Cheshire Cat, and the white rabbit again. And I fussy cut these frames out, fussy cut the rabbit from inside, bumped him up on just plain cardstock because you can't have too much dimension in here. Added an itty teeny weeny key from my stash. This is actually a clothing tag that I just covered with scraps of paper. I painted it with chalk board paint, and this tucks into this little torn paper pocket. Do you see this? Just a little torn corner and you've got an element. So that's what I mean by it's a great way to use up scraps. Here's our King of Hearts, and again another little flap just for fun. So that's the first one, and this just sits inside. Then on this side, I've used a ribbon closure, and this is kind of the sister of that one. Same idea, just simply decorated little pockets, little elements, just for fun. This folds out. Whoops, let me fold it out all the way, so you can see all the different images here. And this is the same size as the other one, I just made it a little bit longer. And then on this side, I managed to get in this entire scene from the paper collection just by cutting and then piecing it together along this. So that's really a fun little feature there. And then this tie's closed, and I'll do that later. The second book is Alice, and she's inside this Prima sundial, which I also colored with the rose gold, and added some mustard seeds, a little Prima tassel that I had in my stash, and just kind of, it was silver and I used the rose gold to color it. On the spine, we have the little white rabbit from the Funky Junky Boutique, a little wonderful Tim Holtz Muse charm, and then again, waxed linen thread. I did some stitching on the cover of this one. This one I painted the covers with aged mahogany distress paint, then came back and pounced on the rose gold mixative, and I really like the way that turned out. In fact, I did that on 2 of them. So this is another little interactive. This one, I didn't secure the spine here. I left it open because it makes it easy to open and close the book. And then I created a little double pocket here, and I do have a tutorial for this style. I'll link to that below. This is basically the same as the Stamperia Spring Botanic. It's the same basic page design. A little graphic 45 washi tape as a border, and then this little guy pulls out. This is fun. I use my envelope punch board, pieced together little scraps of paper to make a collage, and then this little envelope opens, and there are a couple of little tags and elements from the collection inside. So fun to build things that have little treasures tucked in here and there. Then this page turns, and this is kind of fun. I did a little pop-up here on this side pocket page. Fussy cut the sentiments, and then in the pocket we've got the white rabbit. So he's super cute. I like him on each side, and they're looking at one another, which is always a fun way to do things. Then this folds, and we've got a little flap on the back cover with just layered playing cards. This little guy has a paper clip, but he opens up and there's Alice in all her glory. So that's fun. And then over here, another one of these double pockets with another really cute teapot envelope, just collaging scraps of paper together, which is one of the things I love about this particular die. This allows you to use those scraps, a little teacup tuck spot, the white rabbit tag, and the King of Hearts tucked inside here. Let me get him out. So there's that. I love interactive. It's like a toy. It's like a paper craft and a toy all in one. And then, oh, I also have tucked in here, this is a fun thing to do with these long elements. Again, these are bookmarks, score and fold. And then you've created little mini folios that are so fun. Now, there is not a tutorial for this. This was just too huge of a project to do a tutorial for. But if you look on my YouTube channel, you will find tutorials to help you build the boxes. Oh, this goes over here. Build the boxes and build the notebooks, and you'll find all of that. So between all of those different things, you can probably, this is not hard, you can probably figure most of it out yourself. And then this third one, this is really fun. I kept this one real simple because it was going to be a tight squeeze. I cut the tab off of one of those bookmarks, just used it up here with a little metal embellishment, little fussy cut teapot, it's always tea time. On the spine, a little tiny key and another rabbit charm, more of this burlap and string, and then inside this is a little tea party in a box. So I've got some cream wafers imported from England. How fun is that? Wrapped them with designer paper, tied a ribbon, added the rest of, this is the rest of that bookmark, and then a little honey stick and a little plastic spoon. This one says eat me, this one says drink me. I bet you can figure out what is in here. We just remove the belly band, open this up, and there's a tea bag. So this would be such a fun bit of decor for a tea party, for a birthday gift for a tea drinker. I really had a lot of fun putting all of this together. I'm such a fan of this die. It is so easy to use. You just turn on your imagination and you're ready to go. So that's my Stamperia Alice in Wonderland tea treasure box and notebook trio from Eileen Hull. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll have still photos following this little video tour so you can take a closer look. You can also visit my blog at kathybydesign.com, where I'll have detailed photos and tips and tricks to help you create this project on your own. Not a tutorial, but tips and tricks. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you along for the journey. And now I'm going to go get my craft done. Bye!